Welcome all to Bullshit and Bourbon. We took last week off. Taylor took the family for a badass vacation to the Philippines, and everybody was busy for the holidays, so we decided to postpone. But we're gonna have a great episode for you this time. We're gonna talk about living abroad and being an expat in another country. We have our special guest, mine and Taylor's cousin, Dave.
What up? Good to see you. It's been about 25 years.
Yeah. It probably has been that long.
Yeah. I think it was 1999, the last time that we saw each other.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
So, but he's been living abroad in Antigua, where his charter company is. He has a 52-foot?
Beneteau, yeah.
Yeah, 52-foot Beneteau sailboat down there that he charters out. Been over in Europe for the past year or so, getting some work done. And then we just got something going in the Dominican Republic. We got a hold of a guy that's we're working with that has 20 different yachts down there, motor yachts and fishing boats, deep sea fishing boats that we partnered up with. So he's living down in the Dominican Republic now and has some stuff going down there. But yeah, he's been living as an expat for a minute. And, of course, Taylor, lived as a missionary for 2 years. And God only knows what Jeff has done. But
I've lived in Florida.
That counts.
That's a foreign country.
You're the minority there.
You were born there, right?
Yeah, it's not my fault.
All right. I went to the Philippines, just got back, and got a bunch of these bad boys.
Oh, you got the knockoff Louis Vuittons?
Well, they're actually made in their actual shop, but they're the defects ones.
Oh, nice.
But they basically, you can buy them dirt cheap there.
Very cool.
So I got like 8 of them back here.
There you go. Are those like gifts for the girls in the office? Or?
Yeah. I got for employees.
That's cool.
Now, the Dominican Republic, doesn't that share? That's the half of the same island that Haiti's on, right?
Actually, Haiti has a very small piece on the, I guess you'd call it the northwest side of the island.
Okay.
But it's majority Dominican Republic. So I went there a few months ago for a meeting. I was meeting with a Ukrainian colonel for my shipping company that we have. And I just fell in love with the country. I had no idea. I flew in there late at night, like 9 o'clock at night. And where I was meeting the guy was 7 hours away. And I rented a car. And I'm looking at the map and I said, dude, am I going to die? Like, what's in the middle of the country? They're like, don't worry.
There's like guerrilla fighters and fucking, in Dave's mind, there's like ambushes and like minefields.
Right. So I'm like, what's the best route? No, don't worry. It's fine. It was beautiful roads. There were some toll roads I hit, but gorgeous country, good people, huge, man. So I spent a month there, made a lot of good connections. I own a credit repair company too. Found a big phone room in Santo Domingo for that company. And then just found a place called Capcana, which is 1 million acres of private community. And it's their own private police force, their own power company, their own water company, away from Dominican Republic, and just beautiful, man. I mean, you got Margaritaville, Hyatt, Hilton, water parks, sky parks, but just beautiful. Tons of private white sand beaches, and made connections with a guy that owns 20 yachts. And I just said, and I own the charter company, Dojo Wave Charters in Antigua. And I just said, this is it. It's where I'm going to live. So I leased a penthouse, not far from the beach. And just came back to visit Mike and my kids for Thanksgiving. And I head back tomorrow to the DR.
Wow.
So we've been here in the cabin, pounding out the website for the last week.
Yeah.
Getting it done. But we have a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, Mike wanted me to go on.
I guess my question is, for those people that might be interested in taking advantage of y'all's new venture, is there it sounds like the answer is the private subset.
Well, private charters.
Right. But is all the drama in Haiti affect the safety or
let me tell you
availability
Dude, let me tell you something. I lived in Mexico in Rosarito I was there for 8 months up until June is where I was living. So I had a house right on the beach in Rosarito, the #1 place in Mexico for kidnapping on that side. #1 for fentanyl. It's all cartel, right? And I was safe every day. And let me tell you something, Haiti is nothing compared to Mexico. Like they're in their own little tiny bubble, and that's it. I mean, Dominican Republic is very civilized, very safe country. I would probably say 10 times safer than Mexico by far. But I thought the same thing, like going there, like
that was my
mind. Yeah, but I saw more Lamborghinis and Ferraris in Santo Domingo than I've seen in every Caribbean island I've been to, and I've been to almost all of them. I mean, there's just tons of money there. It's
affordable still.
It's a Spanish community, so there's hardworking people. Everyone's Catholic or Christian. I mean, I was blown away. I loved it. I lived there.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really cool.
Who
place.
knew?
Exactly. I didn't know either. So until I went there.
Hey, shout out to Crypto Breezy. Thanks for joining us, brother. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like Dave kind of introduced himself a little bit. One thing that me and Dave has done together, we as everybody knows, well, Taylor knows, we grew up together. We're like brothers. Everywhere his family went, my family went, and so off and on we grew up our whole lives together. We joined the Marine Corps together, and went to boot camp and infantry school and all that stuff together. So yeah, no, it's like we've been kind of joined at the hip, for a good portion of our lives. So yeah, he's more of a brother than a cousin. But
well, I think Taylor, the last time that you saw us was before me and Mike shipped off to boot camp.
Yeah, it was up in Tacoma, Washington.
Yeah, in Tacoma.
Didn't you come up with Mom?
I can't remember. That was too long ago.
Yeah, no, I think you, Rachel, David, came up and saw like me, James, and Dave. Yeah, and it was right before we went to boot camp.
Yep. Mike had us on eggs and toast diet, and then once a week we were allowed to have a Jack in the Box. Dude, I was starving to death. And he was running me every day.
Was this so you would survive boot camp? What was the idea behind that?
Just get ready for boot camp. Slim down.
Yeah, every day.
It's just easier to make it through boot camp if you show up and you're already somewhat in shape and eating healthy and have those habits. You're because then you're not sore. When they start beating the hell out of you, you're not sore and trying to power through that.
So I come up to the cabin 2 to 3 times a year, and it's always boot camp when I get here. He puts me on a diet. I don't smoke cigarettes when I'm here. I barely drink. I go to bed at fucking 8 o'clock. It's boot camp.
Hey, but we're up at 5:30,
4:30.
Get fucking work done.
It's true.
It's freezing up there right now, right?
It's not that bad.
I actually set up here because like before the sun went down, the trees are all covered in snow and shit.
Yeah.
And so we had it set up to kind of show the the snow and everything, but the sun went down before we went live. So well, let's go ahead and jump in and talk a little bit about being an expat, because it's something I've been pondering myself. I got the cabin up here, but I've really been drawn to wanting to invest in real estate in another country. Because there's so many beautiful places out there with just deep culture and awesome food, affordable, affordable land. You can buy a house for, 100 and something thousand or 200 and something thousand for a really nice place, either near the beach or with views of the beach. And it opens up a whole nother world of opportunities. Your dollar goes a lot further in a lot of these countries, and there's just a lot of, there's pros, but there's also cons. Like Dave was talking about, Mexico, there's of course that crime element. There's visas you have to deal with, but I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Dave because he actually has more experience with this.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about the, the pros and cons about living abroad that you've run into.
Well, the first time that I lived somewhat abroad in 2000, I've been going to Mexico for 20 plus years, living in Orange County, San Diego. I was in the car business for 20 years.
Mostly Tijuana.
Yeah, mostly Tijuana. But in 2019, I built a house with a buddy of mine in 2019, right on the Bufadora in Ensenada, which is one of the most visited spots in Baja California. And the beauty is you don't need much permits. People in the government, you can build. There's very small restrictions, which I thought was awesome about being down there. Mexico. Yeah, I enjoyed Mexico a lot. I always felt pretty safe down there. I mean, being a Marine, and then also just I had a lot of friends and family, and I had a fiance at one point that I went down to Mexico with all the time. So I never really felt unsafe in Mexico. But I didn't have any restrictions there, and it opened me up to the idea of living abroad. And then in 2020, when COVID hit, I owned a car dealership in Oceanside with my friend Katie, and COVID hit, and everyone got weird, and they wanted to close our store down. And I had kids near Mike in northern Idaho, a couple hours away from him, and I said, "That's it, I'm out." So I had
don't dox me, man.
My business
don't,
partner.
Don't tell people where the sanctity of my piece my piece is.
All right, we won't talk about where it is. So I came
located.
Yeah,
it's located at address.
Grid coordinates. Here's the grid coordinates of Mike's fucking bat cave.
Put it on Google Maps after the show.
Yeah.
I'll get the pin right now and I'll drop it in the comments.
Right, drop the pen. Drop the pen.
Drop the man.
That's right. So I came up here and started buying and selling pleasure boats. So I started buying boats. They have this big lake, beautiful lake up here, a couple of beautiful lakes. Buying, selling boats. I bought 5 acres of land, and then winter came, and I haven't lived in winter in like 20 something years. I grew up in Flint, Michigan with the hell weather. So I was like, I'm out. So I Airbnb'd the house that I had on the lake, Airbnb'd the fifth wheel that I had, and I broke out back to California, and I found a yacht in the Caribbean. And my daughter's a recording artist. Her producer is a world famous music producer. We're sitting in the studio one day, and he goes, "Man, I've always wanted to have a recording studio on a yacht." I said, "I've always wanted to have a yacht." So that's kind of how Dojo on the Wave, my now chain of businesses, started. So I went to Antigua. I bought a 52-foot yacht.
Well, what about just the pros and cons?
Sure. Well, Antigua was the first place that I actually lived that was living abroad.
We'll revisit all of that.
But let's talk about the pros and cons.
The pros and cons of like expat, and then I definitely want to talk about like some of the business stuff that you've done, like towards the end.
Sure, no problem. So I get to Antigua, and I'm living in Antigua. Didn't plan on living there, and there was the first time that I really dealt with visa issues. Because Mexico, you don't have any of that stuff. It's just Mexico. Come and go as you please. where in Antigua,
we're just happy you're willing to come here.
Yeah. So Antigua, there was a lot of issues, Mike. You can only stay for 3 months. You have a choice of either paying to extend your visa and getting set up in a program where it takes between 5 and 8 years to get your, it's not even your citizenship. It's similar to a green card. So I just left. Luckily, I had the charter company. I'd go to another island every 3 months and come back.
Well, real quick, explain to people like visas and like what a visa is. Some people might not know.
Sure.
Like what is a visa, and what exactly does it accomplish? Like because people have heard of a passport. Those of you that don't know, a passport is something that's issued by your government. Wherever you're a citizen, that is your identification as you travel. And then a visa is
your permission to stay in that country for a limited period of time
for a certain purpose. So there's business visas, there's pleasure visas,
work visas,
work
travel visas. You have a transit visa, student visas. So to go just about anywhere in the world, you have to have a visa to stay there. And also living there too, you have to get used to the difference in currency. So Antigua Barbuda uses Eastern Caribbean dollars, so EC dollars, which is an adjustment. It's about 2.7% of what the US dollar is. What else can I say about living abroad? One big thing for me.
Well, one thing about the visas is every country has different rules. So with the visas, like some countries, like Dave was saying, in Antigua, it was 90 days. Some countries, it's a shorter period. Some it's longer. And to renew it, there's different rules, or different, check marks that you have to hit. So some of them you have to leave the country for a certain period of time and you can come back. Others you can, file for an extension. It really depends on the country. So if you're thinking of living abroad and being an expat, it's really important to figure out where you might want to go and do your due diligence and look into that country and their very specific rules on visas. Because like I said, a passport is your government's permission to travel abroad. A visa is the country that you're going to's permission to be in that country.
Very true.
Do you have to have a certain type of visa to start a business?
Well, I mean, you have to have a work visa, but you have to actually register a company if you want to start a company in another country. So
Okay.
you have to register, you have to start a corporation, or it's similar to an LLC. I mean, each country has different laws for that. And a lot of countries are very, very, very strict. I mean, when I was in Europe, you can only stay
But
in the EU.
with enough money, any problem can be
Well,
solved.
in Spanish-speaking countries, yes. In Europe, not so much.
No. But a lot of these countries, like Dominican Republic, Mexico, a lot of countries that are trying to
Antigua.
well, countries that are really striving to be centers of commerce. They have a lot more flexibility to allow businesses, as long as they see that there's a benefit to the local people and the local economy. They are a lot more pliable and flexible. You go to some place like the UK, yes.
Yeah.
You go to some of the places in Europe, it's going to be very difficult to try to start a business. But you go to like a developing country, they are very much open to new business and new money coming in.
Yeah. Very much.
Yeah, one thing that I thought would be a very good business to start, especially what's going on
Prostitution.
Prostitution. That's already very clear. When I was in the Philippines, I saw a lot of white men walking around.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
They were there, tourists. Like,
I'm here for the articles. I'm here for the articles.
Yeah. is like nursing homes and care facilities, because how expensive it, long-term care is so expensive. But
yeah,
like I've always wanted to set it up in the Philippines, have like a nursing homes, because Filipinos are such good caretakers.
That's true.
And so my idea was, well, you could, with your Social Security, someone could probably pay for a nursing home in the Philippines, their stay, their care. And I looked into it, and they do have ways that Medicare is accepted at certain hospitals in the Philippines. So there would be a possibility of pulling that off. But I imagine the Caribbean probably has some places like that too that might work.
Well, if you want to talk about that, Taylor, I actually know a lot of obviously ex-military guys that live down there, and and obviously as they age, they would need to have those types of facilities, and there is no issues with their Social Security and military retirements, as far as to pay for that care.
Yeah, because Philippines is probably one of the most interesting places to live if you're American outside of the United States, because one, Filipinos love Americans. Mm-hmm. They're super nice people. They are, it's the best thing about the Philippines is the Filipino people. Like, you go to the Philippines, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but the people, everyone you run into, they want to help you. They all pretty much speak English. I mean, almost even people that don't really speak English, they speak enough to communicate with you. And
if you're open to it, you should share some of the pictures and like some of the videos that you made while you were down there. It's a beautiful freaking country.
Yeah, let me see if I could share.
Here, let me make you a moderator so that you have full permissions.
I think you did. Let me try. Let me see.
All right, go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
No, but yeah, the Philippines is a beautiful country.
Oh, let's see. Let me see.
I'm gonna go refresh my drink while you do that.
Oh, presentation. Maybe I have to go here. Oh, can you see it now?
Oh yeah, we can see everything. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So we went to a bunch of different places, but the coolest place that we went to, that I think a lot of people might be interested in, because pretty much nobody's there, is El Nido. So El Nido, this is, I walked out the beach. So I walked along this beach in the morning.
Was that where the homeless guy was at?
Yeah, he lived like right on the beachfront. There is nobody but homeless. Like they have these little huts all along the beach. And
They're homeless and they got a hut.
That dude had $1 million view.
yeah, this was his view every morning. And I was just like, this guy has it freaking figured out. He was out there barbecuing something in the morning. It was awesome.
Right.
And
Something.
oh man, it was absolutely amazing to like see the place. But like, here's a video of it. It's just like absolute.
Yeah, I want to surf there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the surfing there would be amazing. But the thing is like, I actually was contemplating, I didn't post this, but I was contemplating that the reason why the Philippines has places where are untouched that are paradise and there aren't like gigantic resorts on it is because it's so corrupt. At the end of the day, in America, we are so efficient and get things done that any place like that would have people living all over it. That's Florida, any of those other places. It's all taken up. But the Philippines, they're so corrupt that you have to buy off too many people and nobody wants to invest their money there because of it. So it's
or
So
you got
super polite, super corrupt. Interesting combo.
It is actually very fascinating combo because the people are so fed up with their government all the time there, and they're frustrated.
Wasn't there a coup or something not too long ago?
Where,
What?
in the Philippines?
Wasn't there like a coup or something like that not too long ago? Or am I thinking of somewhere else?
I don't think in the Philippines.
I mean, Philippines probably always has some attempt or something like that going on at some point, but I don't remember.
When I was in the military, some of the northern islands were actually Taliban and Al Qaeda terrorist cells. Like
that's the southern islands of it.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the southern islands have are close to Indonesia, and they were Muslim. So when the Spanish arrived, of course, the Muslims were there, but they didn't have a heavy presence in the northern islands. They did like around Mindanao, and of course, the Muslim islands really didn't convert. It was the northern islands that converted to Christianity. So about 2/3 of the Philippines is Christian, and 1/3 of it is Muslim.
Okay, interesting.
So Gary's he's not with us, but I guess when he's at a gay bathhouse in San Francisco,
Nice.
and he's watching. He said he wants to celebrate. If somebody's not here, they're doing something gay. That's the rule. So yeah, he's saying he wants to celebrate on a beach whenever we're done with this. We definitely need to do like a guy trip or do some kind of trip sometime.
Well, I mean, I know somebody who has a couple of charter companies in the Caribbean.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go down there. Yeah.
No, honestly, probably I'm the most interested in. One, I want to go, but two, we have a 70-foot azimuth yacht, like a motor yacht. Thing is gorgeous, and but yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff to see down there as far as like different islands that we can go out to, and the sandbar where you can like get out in the water, and it's about chest deep. And you can just basically, it's almost like a wading pool, but you're just out there and there's starfish, like giant starfish and all kinds of cool stuff to do. But, and Dave sent me some pictures of the different food and stuff, but it honestly would be a cool trip for all of us to take and maybe do like a podcast episode down there.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Anytime. Yeah.
I know Dallas probably has a direct flight to there.
Yeah, Philly does. I don't know if there's one in Texas or not. Miami.
I would guess Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas is a huge hub.
I think New York does too, obviously.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So kind of, well, I can go ahead and continue on because I've been watching. What was it? How long were you down there? Like 2 weeks?
Yeah, we were there for 2 weeks, and so we went to El Nido, then we went to Cebu. And Cebu, I mean, there's so many people there but it's pretty fun, cool, because we went canyoneering and like jumping off waterfalls down into different things. It was so much fun.
Nice.
And then we went to where I went on my mission up in the mountains. And that was boring for my family because it was like, there's nothing here. I go, yeah, it's like I lived in no place, but that was rough on my family. They didn't make it very long before we started having like we had people get bed bugs, and then people started developing like rashes and different things. And then I'm like, I probably need to get them out of here. They're not going to make
it. They're not built for this. They're used to a certain lifestyle.
We drove 8 hours through the mountains on these windy mountain roads. That was miserable to get to the other side of the island in order to get back to.
When I was talking to Kai, I was actually telling him, because I mean, Kai is Taylor's son, but a badass, a total badass. But Taylor and all of his family, like we've said before, is into jujitsu, like on a very high level. I mean, like they go to Ireland to compete. They travel abroad to compete. But Kai, wants to fight MMA, wants to open a gym and stuff like that. And he actually asked me, he's like, what's a good way to, kind of get more resilient and, get, kind of harden yourself. And I told him, living rough, live in some place like the Philippines, that hot, humid, train in that, live that lifestyle, to where like, those old Rocky movies, when he's freaking hitting the beef and, you're struggling and you actually, like your daily life is a struggle. It builds resiliency.
Oh yeah. It was amazing to see how like people there, it's like nothing phases them. You're like,
and that's
you're going to eat that? Like, and they're like basically drinking mud water. And then like,
yeah.
We ate in a place called Manaue. It's the rice terraces that they carved out throughout all the mountains, and they really didn't cook our food, and so one of our kids got food poisoning.
Oh no!
And I'm just like, well, this is kind of how these people just do it. They're
just like, FYI, I talked to Taylor earlier today.
No, in a lot of countries, that's just day-to-day life.
Yeah,
I talked to Taylor earlier today. He's like, oh, it was great. Everybody had a great time.
Oh yeah.
Everyone looked like they had an awesome time. I got to apologize to everybody in the chat real quick. The way that we're set up tonight, I can't really engage too much in the chat, but I'm reading it. And C90, absolutely, we accept crypto down in the Dominican Republic and in Antigua.
Yep, big time.
I've sold Dave on crypto, and so it's like he's definitely all in on crypto. So.
Yeah, I do a lot of charters with big crypto people down there all the time.
Yeah. So, Taylor, did you get hooked up earlier with those pics that I sent you?
The different type of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, the different projects.
Yeah. Actually, I want you to talk a little bit about. I know we're getting a little bit off topic here, but
that's fine.
It's
you know how we roll here. We're all over the place.
Well, but like I know this is like one of your big things, but it is probably coming down. I know that things will come back down again. We'll probably have another kind of little slump in crypto before I think it really takes off and it becomes kind of I think it's going to really become the future of the way people are going to worldwide handle money, because
exchange value, move value.
Yeah, I think people are going to get sick of governments and the devaluing of their money, and it's really it is going to be the future. Like watching, I thought maybe this was the last time, but when Trump won, I don't really think in 4 years the government's going to have the power nor the ability to interfere with to stop it. So
no, and let me loop this in with our topic for this evening. Is the reason a lot of people like Crypto Breezy, a lot of these people that are watching, the Deadwood, C90, they're all people that I met in chat rooms, while I was learning about crypto on like Blockchain Basement with Druth and stuff like that. And the majority of us that is the aha moment that we had with crypto. Was it was a way to decouple from fiat currency and government controlled currencies, and move the value of our dollar and our time. Because I mean, if you really think about it, the money that you earn at your job or your business or whatever is a representation of your time. What is your time worth? So if you can move it into a medium like crypto, like Bitcoin or something else that is recognized and the value is the same worldwide and recognized worldwide, and you can take the banks out of the loop, like with what I'm doing with DeFi, to where you can lend it out, and instead of the banks earning all of that yield off of lending your money out and paying you next to nothing for it, you get that yield. It makes it's a life changer.
So
go ahead.
Let me go over the ones that you told me. So you said the ones you like, your top 5 are XRP, XLM, HBAR, QNT, and Link. But you did say they had a good run and that you're moving to Arrow, ONDO, DAG, Link, and AVAX, and have CRISPR as a solid long shot for. Those are big shot ones that you're looking at, right?
Yes. So basically what I did is the ones that you mentioned at first, XRP, XLM, HBAR, QNT, they're legacy coins. They're very high up market cap. They're like in the top 10, top 20. They're blue chips.
Okay.
Those of you that know about, stocks and stuff, Jeff can probably speak on this. They're considered blue chips in crypto. Those have had a really good run. They're probably still going to have some good upside. However, I've moved from those, because I've already 3-4x'd on those. I've moved out of those into ones that are a little bit higher risk, because if you understand the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin, usually Bitcoin runs first, then Ethereum, then large caps, then mid and low caps. We are roughly around the time where Ethereum and large caps are going to run. But you have to keep in mind that something that has kind of churned the 4-year cycle on its ear is that institutional money, because of regulation, government regulation, is comfortable about getting into the market. It's a double-edged sword, though. They are injecting liquidity, which is pumping the market, the overall market cap, from 3 trillion to God knows what this cycle. But with that amount of money, they can manipulate it much easier. So you need to be cautious and act accordingly. I'm not a financial advisor. People like Jeff are much more in tune with risk management and those things. And Jeff, feel free to chime in. But you need to understand your risk tolerance. And what that means is the amount of risk that you're willing to take and the amount of gains that you're looking to get. So low risk, you might only make a 2 or 3x in crypto, which is huge compared to traditional finance or TradFi. But if you balance your portfolio and do 5% in higher risk, a certain percentage in mid risk, and then some in some low risk, you can do quite well if you get in the twilight era is kind of passing right now, but now is still a good time to get in. If you get
what do you mean the twilight era?
So right now we're well into the bull market when it comes to the 4-year cycle. Bitcoin has had a really good run. Ethereum, yeah, it's up to $100,000. It was at $15,000 at the bottom of the bear market, so it's already had a really good run. Ethereum really hasn't run yet; it hasn't made new all-time highs, so that's kind of where we're at. However, XRP, XLM, HBAR, a lot of those high cap blue chip cryptos have had a really good run, 4 or 5x. Again, do your own research. I'm not an expert, but this is just my observations and how I'm playing my portfolio.
Well, also, going back to XBAX, Mike touched on a good point that, crypto is the same no matter where you're at. So that you don't have to worry about your money exchange. A big problem that I've had in every country
Good segue.
is money exchange. We went to Jamaica to do some music stuff with my daughter and a few other people in August, and everyone wanted to rip you off on the money exchange. A few other countries were like that as well. One of the reasons why I like the DR is everyone treated me real honest when I came in the country, which I liked. I got exactly what I Googled the money exchange should be. That's what I got. So another thing when you're traveling abroad, you got to really watch your money exchange and how you move it. Or with crypto, if you have a crypto account and you take money in crypto, you're not going to lose money on exchanges. So, we take crypto in Antigua Barbuda. We take crypto. We're going to take crypto in Dominican Republic.
If I have anything to say about it, and I'm part of that company, so I do.
Even with our shipping company, my partner, he pays out dividends in USDT. Because he's in Europe right now. And instead of dealing with euro to dollar and whatever,
and it's instant freaking
we do all of our payments in USDT. So we don't have to worry about losing money with money exchange. Plus, your bank. Another thing too, when I first went to Antigua Barbuda, I used my regular bank in the United States, a credit union, and I got whacked foreign exchange fees every time you run your debit card. You're paying the fees for that. Then you're paying a foreign exchange fee. You go pull money out of an ATM.
Waiting 5 to 10 business days.
Right. So you pull money out of an ATM. That bank always takes advantage of you on the currency exchange. Then you get charged a foreign money exchange fee in your own bank in the United States.
And sometimes they don't go through.
Right. So if you're going to go wherever you're looking at moving, wherever you decide that this might be a country where you want to retire, you want to live, look at the exchange rate.
And look at crypto.
Look into banking. You want to be able to open up an account in that country that's safe, because that's something else to say about the Caribbean.
Offboarding
is there's a lot of banks that have gone under down there. And, back on some of the pros and cons of being an expat is when you're in the Caribbean, you got to be really careful where you put your money. There's many banks in the Caribbean that have gone under and all your money's gone, and there's nothing you can do about it.
It's just like crypto exchanges. It's very important to keep these things in mind when you're living abroad. Yeah. And that's why self-custody in crypto is so powerful. You can custody your own value. And whenever you need to cash out, you move it to a bank that day, you go to the bank, you withdraw, and that's all you keep in the bank. And so, you need to limit your exposure and limit your risk, especially when living abroad, because, they don't have the regulation the US has or Europe has in a lot of these countries because they're developing.
Well, also, a good thing that helped me a lot too is, if you're down there and you have to send money back home to your loved ones, you got Western Union, those are massive fees, MoneyGram, if they have it in that country, to where if you just send somebody USDT in crypto and they have a Coinbase account or crypto.com or any of the bigger ones, it's instantaneous and it transfers right to their bank. You don't have the foreign exchange fees.
Dave has called me a couple times and wanting to get some of his crypto that I got.
Yeah, but cash me out, bro.
Yeah, he's like, send me some money.
I'm in St. Martin.
So Jeff, you've been awfully quiet. I want to hear your take on some of this because you're more of an expert on like finances and investing than any of us sitting here. Taylor's a lawyer. I'm just like an old vet sitting in the woods. Dave's living abroad on yachts and shit. What is your take on a lot of this with investments, the moving of value, cross borders?
I certainly think the structure of crypto from a transferring of assets standpoint across borders is exactly what you guys say. I would say the one thing that, and I do agree with Taylor's read. The big thing that kept me out of crypto, besides the fact that there's the speculation investment aspect, and then there's the sort of decoupled from any given government currency aspect, and those are really two sides of the coin, if you can't handle the pun. And there's a lot of people I think that have been buying this stuff that don't really understand it, right? I think there's plenty of people that do. I certainly put myself in the don't understand it category, by the way. But so that made it incredibly bubble-like, and it made it very speculative, and it makes it very volatile. So while I absolutely agree that the trajectory, especially of Bitcoin, but certainly of the whatever ends up being the granddaddies of these in the next 10 or 15 years, presuming crypto is unmolested by the big governments, because I think people don't realize or forget. Maybe don't forget, they're not old enough. Nobody's around from this time period. But in the 30s, the FDR's government seized gold. I mean, he just straight up outlawed it. Said you can't have it. We're taking it.
Absolutely. No,
right?
In the crypto world, this is actually talked about quite a bit.
So to me, that's I think the best thing that can happen to crypto is that it grows at a rate that is sufficient to continually bring new adoptees and entrants, but not so quickly as to become a material threat to the monetary policy and powers of the EU, of the United States in the short to intermediate term. In other words, it's sort of like turning. Go ahead.
Well, Jeff, we've reached that tipping point. I think that crypto, like government fiats, dropped the soap, and crypto snuck up on them in prison. If you get my drift, they don't drop the soap, and it's too late. Like crypto is.
I hope it is too. I think it is too, because I think it would be kind of a gigantic sovereign issue. I'm just getting at what I'm.
You're 100% right. Like they're the window for them to use regulation, because Elizabeth Warren is a big one. The head of the finance committee in Washington, D.C. has been trying to crush crypto using Gary Gensler, the head of the SEC. And they have failed miserably. And
hasn't also, like Russia and all these other countries, been like tax breaks on crypto now, where people aren't paying tax on it?
Yes and no, but the big thing is that the U.S. being the economic power that it is, the Biden administration has really tried to crush crypto using Gary Gensler as the head of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. And they've tried to, they went after Ripple and XRP. They've gone after other crypto, projects and things like that. Some of them they totally put out of business. But with the wave of people and adoption, they haven't been able to stop it. And now with Trump winning, he actually named a crypto czar not too long ago, and he's one of the guys, I forget his name, but he is on the All In podcast. He's one of the 4 guys that's in the All In podcast. And he's very crypto savvy. And Trump is nominating him as his crypto czar. And that is super, super fucking...
Oh, David Sachs?
David Sachs. Thank you, Taylor. But
I would say it's very bullish for crypto.
No, it's
right?
very.
But Deadwood and C90 both made comments I completely agree with. It's liquid enough to convert into any fiat, and I do think it might be the new gold standard. My only point is, you said, or you both said, wherever you go, a Bitcoin's a Bitcoin, or an XRP is an XRP. But
Exactly.
still, if you're running a business, though, you're still. So let's say I want to charter that yacht, and I don't know what it costs to charter a yacht, but
no. I see where you're going with this. Please continue.
So my point is, you're still going to have to, as a business owner, you're going to have to change that price based on what you're willing to exchange it for. So it might be if a Bitcoin could rent a yacht for a day a year ago, well, then I feel like a Bitcoin now should rent a yacht for a week, because the Bitcoin's worth so much more.
Not how it works, but I get your point. So just like any other exchange rate, they fluctuate. If with the currencies market, people
fluctuates.
People that exchange currencies. There's people that make as you know, Jeff, there's people that make a very good living in the exchange rate of yen and dollars and rubles and dollars and all the different currencies. Same thing with cryptocurrencies, and digital dollars. Is that as Bitcoin goes up, whatever the exchange rate is at the moment, if it's exactly $100,000 and it's $10,000 to rent the yacht, it is what 0.1
Bitcoin.
Yeah, 0.1 Bitcoin. I'm a little bit drunk. Bullshit and bourbon.
Right.
So yeah, point one, it will cost you point one Bitcoin to rent this yacht for the week.
Right, but
Done
then,
and done.
but my point is, if Bitcoin goes through another bear market, and the next week you want to rent it again, and Bitcoin's been cut in
Well, you
half,
move
now it's
it.
going to cost
Then,
you,
then
You move
you
your
you move
Bitcoin.
it. If
right?
Bitcoin is, is 10,000, then it's 0.01.
Well, and also, I've been in crypto since 2021. Not on a big level, but I've always had money in it, and I've been able to watch the markets and watch as it goes. And you have to really be a student of crypto to be safe. Obviously, I get my crypto lessons when I come up here with Mike. So
That's all I do, like
all he talks about.
8 to 12 hours a day. That's all I
Get
do.
your
So-
crypto brown belt. Yeah.
That's
Yes,
right,
yes, yeah.
yeah.
We're down. We're in here like grappling.
Grappling with crypto.
Yes, grappling with crypto.
Yeah. So definitely it's not for everybody to invest, because if you don't watch the market, you can get hurt really bad really quick. But if you watch the market, or you invest in stable coins or stable things, it's a safe way to move money for me. A lot of people call crypto, it's lottery. Crypto is gambling.
And
So is the stock market.
everything is.
So
All investing is.
but investing in crypto for me is easy use of money, cross-border payments, quick transactions. When customers pay me monetarily through a bank wire for a charter, or for anything else I'm doing, it takes 3-4 days. They got to go to their bank, then it has to go to an intermediary bank with a SWIFT code, and then it has to go to the country that I'm in, and then it takes another 2 or 3 days. So it might take me 5 days to get paid. Where if crypto's like this, and I ask them, do you have a
There you
Coinbase?
go.
Do you have this? Do you have that?
Straight from the horse's mouth.
And then I can take my crypto, however they pay me, and transfer my bank, and it's in my account the next day. Or
instantly.
Well, not to my bank.
Well, not to your
It's
bank,
instantly to my.
but it's in your
wallet.
possession.
It's in my wallet instantly.
In your possession,
And
which is
then-
what's important.
And the next day, it's in my account physically, and I transfer it out. So I don't leave very much money in crypto. I transfer it out. I use crypto to move
Well,
money.
and that's why I'm going to be handling the money when it comes to the Dominican Republic and the charter company, because I'll be DeFiing it. I'll be putting it
He'll be handling his money.
15% APR. Like Taylor's doing. Put a little bit of USDC, earn a little 15 to 20% APR.
Yeah. So and for me, being an expat and living abroad, crypto is the best way to move money quickly. And it can be safe. It's the risk that you're talking about, Jeff, with the value of it. If you transfer the money, you put it in USDT, it's very stable, it's very safe.
So the importance of of using crypto as a medium of exchange is that if you're worried about the volatility, which in my opinion, my very humble opinion, I think over time the crypto industry, just like the .coms, the volatility is going to go away. It's going to more closely match the traditional markets, because as institutional money comes in and the market cap increases, it's going to be a lot harder to manipulate. People like BlackRock, people like Fidelity, governments, they're not going to be able to throw around hundreds of billions of dollars and move the markets like they do now. It's going to become a lot more flat. Diminishing returns is what the term that's used in crypto. So
let me ask you a quick question then.
Please.
Is my thought process correct in that? So again, I'm talking super big picture arcs here. The big picture about crypto is obviously, since it's not, especially I don't know if all crypto is like this, but obviously Bitcoin is constrained as far as the total amount of coins that can ever be made. I assume others are like that as well, right? So the big argument is, hey, it can't be inflated. It can't be printed the way the United States prints money, or the Euro prints money, the European Union prints money, et cetera, or Japan, or anybody else. And so long term, the long term graph is the dollar goes to zero, effectively zero against Bitcoin, correct? And so, and everything else does too. And
not
any
necessarily, but yeah, it's if they keep
that's
printing,
the trend. Is it will decline against something that, right? So it depends on which way is it Bitcoin's appreciating, or is it the dollar appreciating? However you want to look at it. So
I
understand.
If you look at like Bitcoin to the dollar pair, You know,
Right.
is Bitcoin or the dollar appreciating or
And
depreciating?
if you keep it at 1 Bitcoin, it just looks like the dollar's just getting less and less and less, theoretically, over the long-term trend. So
100%.
to me, the only way, or at least in the short to intermediate term, that you could, and I think that they're talking about this in the chat as well, you would use this for either a running your life or running your business or both, is if you said, okay, well, I'm going to have crypto as my default longer, or crypto, a basket of cryptocurrencies, is my default longer asset slash currency of choice investment. But in times of, let's say, you're talking about the 4-year cycle. So let's just say, for grins, we all had a crystal ball and knew the next time crypto was going to come. I mean, the Bitcoin was going to tumble 80%. That's when you would do a short term, weeks to months to maybe a year, transfer into either stable coins or even right back to cash. Correct? In other words, you would use the dollar, as an example, as sort of a safe haven for short periods of time
flight to
during
safety.
crypto volatility.
The term that's used is flight to safety. Yes.
Okay. So it's interesting, though, is everybody thinks the dollar. So day to day, people think the dollar's super safe. Decade to decade, people think the dollar's a disaster.
It's less volatile. As of right now, it's less volatile. And so moving your fiat currency, whenever it's to the positive in a bull market, you want to move it out of fiat into crypto. As you'll read the pie chart, and you see that we're getting towards the upper end. It probably everyone in the market that I'm listening to, and that all the charts I'm looking at, points towards like the end of Q3, beginning of Q4. Me personally, July is when I'm looking to be 80-90% out. But at that point, you want to be in stablecoin, which is more which is pegged 1-to-1 with the US dollar. And that is what you want to be in to secure that value. And then, you wait for the market to crash, do whatever it's going to do. And then you buy back in, rinse and repeat.
Well, with Musk and Vivek, right, being in charge of government spending, by the time the bull runs over, we might have the US dollar going up. So,
but Michael, the problem with that thinking is it's going to work until you're wrong. And then what's going to happen?
No, absolutely. Well, I mean, that's true of any thesis, Taylor, is all you can go off of is historical data.
Yeah, my advice would be is buy and don't pull out. Keep
What's
it.
that?
Everybody that has done buy and pull out.
You said you don't pull out?
Don't pull out ever.
How many kids do you have?
How many kids do you have, Taylor? You have 5?
I know. to get you a little excited, Michael?
Yes.
I have apparently back in 2011, I bought a bunch of Bitcoin. I don't know where it is.
Oh, dude.
I have an email chain between me and Charlie purchasing it, and I have totally forgot about this.
Dude,
I have no idea where.
Talk to Charlie.
Let me do some forensics. I'll do some forensics for 10%.
No, so me and Charlie were talking about it. We went and purchased it, and I talked to him, and he's like, "I have that email exchange, but I don't remember when we did this."
Wow.
So apparently, I own some.
Well, there is.
How much did you buy, Taylor?
I don't have out on there how much I bought. It just says we went and purchased it. But I
remember Charlie buying some at like 100 and selling it like 600. So maybe it was that.
Yeah, and I did it with him apparently because I have the that we both did it, and I remember because he sold his around $800, and I apparently have totally forgot about. I have this somewhere, but I don't know where the heck I would have done it.
Yeah,
dude, this is making my stomach hurt.
I know, it really does.
Have 300 or 400 grand worth of Bitcoin and not even know.
I know. Yeah. It's like isn't that frustrating? Like, apparently, I was going through my emails and I'm like, oh, I did buy some.
Well, did he self custody or did he use an exchange?
No, we didn't.
There was no exchange back then, really.
No,
it was self custody.
Most people kept it on Mount Gox.
Yeah.
Where would I have done this? In 2011, where would you have purchased this? Like, I don't know. Charlie told me to do it.
Yeah, I remember 2011. There was even an ATM at my gym
Mount
that
Gox.
you could buy Bitcoin from. You could
Mount
literally go to the
Gox.
ATM and buy Bitcoin.
It was called Mount Gox.
Mount Gox. Gox, according to Michael.
GOX.
Yep. But I mean, being in the car business, I had a lot of stories from people that worked for me that had Bitcoin on their laptop broke, they lost the codes, Bitcoin here, they lost it because there wasn't a big jump in Bitcoin.
D90's funny.
Yeah. What year was it, Mike, that Bitcoin really took off?
It was like 2016, I think.
Yeah. When it took off.
When it really took off.
Yeah.
I mean, it went from like like $1 to $3 to a decent amount, but I want to say it was like 20. In the chat, tell us.
Yeah.
I think it was 2011, 2012 that it like really made its first big jump.
Wait, let me look at the email exchange.
Hey guys, you'll appreciate this. I sat next to a kid on a plane who looked homeless, probably 22
Oh, you
years
told
old.
me about that.
Tried to explain Bitcoin to me on my way to Vegas in 2011. And he's like, I got this Raspberry Pi and I'm mining. And I'm like, this kid is high as a kite.
And you know what?
About digital
he's probably
gold.
living on a beach with like a harem of like Thai girls now.
Dude, at the time, he told me he had like 130 Bitcoin. So who knows if he kept it or not? But
mine's
it was 2014 that I purchased it.
That's still, dude. If we can figure out how to get you into that,
what the heck would I like? It's weird not having any memory of doing something, but yet having an email saying,
"Well, welcome to my world."
Well, I think back then too, when everyone talked about buying Bitcoin, it was really nobody understood it at all. It seemed like it was just a bartering system. That's how I remember learning about Bitcoin. It's like it's not money, but you can trade it for services. Like if you're a barber, which I don't need one anymore. Well, but if you're a barber and you want to trade haircuts for food, and pizza, that's how it was explained to me.
Well, dude, there's that story of that dude that exchanged 10,000 Bitcoin
for pizza
for 2 pizzas, and it's like holy shit.
I was hungry.
Well, dude, like 10,000 Bitcoin is what freaking $100,000 per
100 million.
Yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. But
but back then,
okay,
you knew.
The thing is it's important. And
it's actually $1 billion.
Well, yeah. Well, back to the expat thing. It's important that in today's day and age, that you understand value and the your time and the exchange of your time for value, and how to secure that to where you are in control of it. Like in Greece, perfect example. In Greece, people put their money in the banks. They trusted the banks. The whole system melted down overnight. People were trying to get their money out to exchange it into something else other than their currency because that was their life savings. And
even in the U.S., don't we have bail-ins?
Well, yeah, no, and it's those of you that don't know. After the 2008 crash, there was legislation that was passed that it's called bank bail-ins, where basically banks are able to legally seize your assets that are in the bank and use them to make themselves whole. So whenever if you don't know, whenever you deposit money in the bank, they lend it out, and they're able to lend it out. It's called fractional banking, reserve banking, where they can lend it out multiple times, and they're earning yield off of it and paying you like 0.01%. And if they go insolvent, they can seize your assets. The FDIC and a lot of times will step in and make you whole if it's under $250,000, but they are in control of your money. And if they can shut down the ATMs, they can shut down your card and cut off access to your funds. It is important. And that's why there's so many people that were into gold and silver for so long. It was a way to physically have control and sole control over your value, the value of your dollars. And that's why people are so passionate about crypto. It's a way, again, back to the expat thing, living abroad. I can go live I can jump on a plane tonight and go live in the Dominican Republic. I can take my, ledger or my Trezor or, my cold storage wallet with me. I can go down there and I can off ramp it down there into whatever currency, the Dominican peso.
Yeah.
Or I can go over to Europe if I'm wanting to travel. I can off ramp it into the euro. I can off ramp it into whatever currency I want and not have to ask a bank for permission. I don't have to go in and say, I want to withdraw $10,000. And they tell me, we don't have that on hand. You have to give us 24 hours notice. And why do you want that much money?
Well, let me touch on that too. In Europe, so I spent a lot of times in the Netherlands, in Den Haag, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, and there's no cash. They eliminated there. They had a $200 euro, they had a $500 euro. I believe the $500 euro is gone now, and it's really hard to get cash. Most places that you go to don't accept cash. Everything's click pay with your phone, or a debit or credit card. There's no cash. Gas stations, restaurants, coffee places, there's no cash.
They won't accept cash.
I went there with a grip of US dollars, and I couldn't do anything with them.
They were all ones.
And then, yeah.
Because he was going to the strip club.
But I remember going to
fly the best.
Yeah, I remember going to exchange there, and they wanted to give me 50 cents on the dollar to exchange my money. It was insane. So and they're getting away from cash in Europe. Bosnia, Turkey, where else I go? Croatia, the Netherlands, where else I go? The UK. Almost every place I went to, there were places that I ran into that do not accept cash in Europe. So
can I say separately? I do not like the fact. I think this trend towards while convenient, unless you have identity theft, this trend towards a cashless society is, from a government sort of watchdog control freedom thing, is scary as fuck.
It is scary.
People can know exactly what you buy and sell and do in every single moment of every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't. That's there's because here's the thing that if you really wanted to, if our friends in NSA really wanted to jam somebody up, right? You just create some kind of fake ledger and be like, oh, you did this, this, and this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think cash is king still.
That's
I
not
wish it was.
quite how it works. I get where you're coming from, but the way that the ledger works, right,
crypto, it's open sourced and all that, but still.
Well, it's decentralized is the terminology, and so by being decentralized, it can't be manipulated, and that's the beauty of it. Is like say the government put their whole budget on blockchain, those the people could actually
just looking for his Bitcoin.
Yeah, I know. The whole thing. Ever since he started talking about Bitcoin,
out of the show completely.
Oh, he's just like, where's that motherfucking Bitcoin? I'm gonna find that motherfucking
Let me pay for
Bitcoin.
that trip to Singapore.
I found how much I put in.
How much?
See, that's all he's thinking about.
Taylor, I'll help you. I'll help you, man.
How much you put in, Taylor?
$2,349.
Oh my God! In 2014?
No,
you probably have a couple $1 million at least.
It was before that. That's when Charlie sold his.
So it was like 2012, maybe.
I don't know.
Well, it's okay.
I don't know.
Hey, Siri,
I'm looking through my bank account right now to find where did I spend that much money. And I'm around that time, so I'm trying to figure out if I can see where that money went to.
Oh, no, dude, handle your business. Yeah,
well, this is making me sick to my stomach right now, realizing that what did I do with this?
2012.
I actually freaking I'm
Dude, you could have anywhere from like 20 to 60 coins.
All right, so if this makes you feel better, it was at $13 a coin in 2012.
Oh, so what's $13 divided into 2,000?
So 1350. Let's do some math real quick. So
I probably sold it. I imagine I would have sold it. I would have
1350.
I would have held it.
You have 185 Bitcoin.
Yeah, times 100,000.
Yeah,
that's only 18 million.
Yeah. No big deal.
That's it.
No big deal. Hey, Taylor,
$18.5 million.
I'm gonna tell myself I would hanging out there somewhere.
No big deal.
Taylor, there's no way with all our
got
conversations you wouldn't have
pizzas.
remembered that.
Yeah,
I know.
you can
I
order
had to have
pizzas.
sold it.
We got pizzas back then.
I had to have sold it.
Oh,
That's the only explanation of why it hasn't ever come, other than when I was going through my emails and I saw that conversation. Yeah.
Oh, there you go, man.
All right.
No way. Okay, get it out of your head, Taylor. You're not rich.
All right.
Welcome back, Taylor.
All right. Let me hit some of these chats.
Move on with your life, Taylor. Move on with your life.
All right. He needs to also think about like stocks bought and sold at trading. Appreciate the info. Thanks, David. He doesn't get the stable coins. Let's see. Just wanting to see if there's any comments that I can throw up that we can talk about real quick.
Don't throw up.
Together with the company, can't we? Oh, Breezy, appreciate the support, man. Yeah, if you ever want to come down, we'll definitely cut you a deal on going out on the yacht or going fishing. I'll go out with
100%, man.
dude. I'll go out with you.
Yeah.
We'll catch. There's world-class marlin fishing down in the Dominican Republic. Jeff, your thought process is correct.
Yeah, I like that one.
XRP, AVAX. I would tend to agree. C90, I think it's the crypto, the different cryptos that are out there. I think it's going to be a lot like the .coms.
Yes.
I think a lot of cryptos are going to go to zero, but there are going to be those blue chips or those gems that are going to end up being the Googles, the Microsofts, of the crypto
the Bitcoin,
industry.
Ethereum, maybe the XRP, Casper, the top holdings.
And I honestly feel Base is saving Ethereum because anyone that's dealt with Ethereum has dealt with fees, and fees are fucking ridiculous. I stopped using anything Ethereum based because of the gas fees. But with Base, like if you go on Aerodrome, where I do a lot of my DeFi, it's pennies to do what used to take like 50, 60 or a couple $100 to do on Ethereum. I don't know how they did it, but they made it to where it's affordable to do transactions on Ethereum. And so, instead of it costing hundreds of dollars, which would eat up all my profits, I'm only making like $150, $200 a day doing my little, DeFi trades.
DeFi, right?
Yeah, learning about it.
Well, it's still about $3,000 a month that you're making.
It is,
and
but
income.
it takes 4 to 5 transactions whenever you put liquidity into a pool or take it out. So if it's $50 per transaction, you're talking $250
you make no money
to get in and $250 to get out. That eats up all your profits. You're losing money.
Right.
But Base actually, as a layer 2 on Ethereum, made it to where it was possible to make these transactions for fractions of a cent as opposed to $50 per.
Yeah. Well, that was part of my problem too when I first got into crypto is I tried to watch the market and move money, and the gas fees were so high.
Destroy you.
I thought, what's the point?
Exactly.
What's the point of trading anything?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. So that's a valid point, man.
So
it's changing. Well, I think crypto is evolving to become more to the market, more household where people understand it.
Well,
because all this to me in the beginning was just Chinese, all of it.
Dude, I laughed at
anything
it.
Mike talked about. I was like, I have no fucking idea what you're saying.
Well, dude,
all the terminologies, this, that. I mean, it's another language. And until you understand the language, don't invest in crypto.
Well, at all. 100%.
Don't.
100%. You have to understand what you're getting into anytime you invest in anything. But what's important is understanding that with crypto, that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Is just don't invest in anything until you understand it.
And don't watch YouTube.
Yes, don't watch influencers. Don't listen to me.
That's how I got burnt on crypto.
Yeah.
Was watching all the what they call it, FOMO.
Oh, FOMO. Yeah.
They get you all pumped up, and they're like, Shiba Inu is going to $1.
Yeah.
And I'm looking up the numbers because I'm a math guy. I was a car guy for 20 years. And I'm like, dude, my 20 grand is going to be 80 billion. Let's buy more. Let's buy more. You can't listen to any of that stuff. Don't go into any of this without an understanding of what you're doing. Now that I have knowledge from Mike, really, I understand it. And it's for sure something that you have to have knowledge. It's an investment. It's similar to the stock market, but a lot more risky, in my opinion, Mike. but
No, absolutely.
so I only use crypto.
So crypto
as a cross-border payment method myself. I let Mike do all the investing.
Yes.
I don't
No.
get involved in it.
Crypto is very much. It is very volatile, and you can lose. You can make a lot of money fast, but you can lose a lot of money faster.
It's gambling.
So
I think a good litmus test for this, by the way, gentlemen, is the next real recession we go into. I don't mean 2022, but I mean real recession, because
and look
so
at the
much
values.
right, because so much of crypto is owned by the younger generation that might have to sell just to pay for life, right? Because I mean, I deal with retirees all the time, and I don't know, I don't have one client over the age of 55, 60 that has any. I don't care if they're attorneys or engineers or investors.
Everything they've been taught.
It's just it's too foreign to them. But it's the younger generation. But the young generation is more
tech savvy,
vulnerable to a significant downturn where they might be forced to liquidate positions when they wouldn't want to. So I would think two things. One, a major job-based recession, not not a bouncy recession, but a jobs recession. 6 months into that, when we have when you see the numbers going up and up and up and everybody's bitching about jobs everywhere, I think that's when you see like an 08 kind of thing. That's when you see what are these things really worth, and you can be a generational entry point.
I know we've gone over a little bit, but Jeff, if people are willing to stick around a little bit longer, let's actually really peel that back. If you're open to it and have the time. Because you are a TradFi guy, you understand markets like traditional markets and what the foundation of what makes the U.S. the economic superpower that it is. I know that you're not super knowledgeable about crypto, and I really want to have a one-on-one conversation with you for my sake as well, because I really want to understand. Yeah, turn them off. Yeah. Yes, turn our ribs off. I really want to get your input because my understanding of a lot of socioeconomic and macroeconomics and microeconomics is from the lens of crypto. I really didn't get into any of it before getting into crypto, whereas you are from the opposite side of the spectrum. Your whole career is based on that traditional lens.
Yes.
And I really want to pick your brain, but please speak from your point of view on because it's not something that people that are listening right now that are in the chat, it's not something they're used to hearing. A lot of them are used to hearing only the crypto side of the lens. Talk.
Well, none of this. None. I guess my comment on that isn't in any way, shape, or form about the validity of any of the crypto coins or the methodology in general, right?
And I don't want you to speak on that. I want you to speak on the traditional markets.
It's more that I think that, and I do Crypto Breezy said I'm in for the long haul. I get that. C90 said, I think a lot of people are liquid, and I think that's fair. But you know what? I've seen people that, by definition, liquidity. But I've seen multimillionaires run for the hills when they see their bags, so to speak, to use y'all's language, cut in half in traditional markets, right?
Oh, and no, absolutely. 50% of the traditional markets is a huge fucking slash.
Sure. So I don't think, my point is, crypto may be the wave of the future in many ways, but it doesn't repeal human wetware. And so in the next significant downturn, especially if there's a downturn that correlates general economy with the crypto economy, I think you'll see, I think it will, you guys know this during the AMC and the GameStop, what do they call it? Diamond Hands or Gorilla, whatever it is.
Or Scratchy Kitty or whatever his name is.
Right, like the Crypto Kitty. So you'll see the people that can't handle that ride for whatever reason, right? Because it's one thing to be like, oh, I got this nice crypto portfolio or portfolio in general. But if you lose your house or if you lose your job and then your wife wants to get divorced all in the same year, you're liquidating. You just don't have a choice.
Oh, dude, I went through it. Dude, when I was retiring from the military, I was going through a divorce and I had to liquidate my house. I had to liquidate everything. And there's life experiences where it's like, I need to liquidate shit to take care of, legal responsibilities so that I can move on do other shit.
But I guess what I'm getting at, and I'm sure I could run this if I wanted to. I'm sure someone out there can run like, the Dow and the S&P like lagged by some months or ahead by some months, and look at what Bitcoin does against it and all this other stuff as far as like matching up the curves. But if all of these things existed in '08, whatever that price point was on a relative basis in '08, I would feel like that's a real true floor, right? That's like a, you know what I mean? Like if you, or for that matter, if you go back, because I started my career 6 months before the tech bubble burst, right? So, the NASDAQ went down 83% from March of 2000 to the bottom in the summer of, or the fall of 2002, something like that. 83%. And then of course it's never
That-
even,
that's a
it's 6x
huge
since
jump.
then. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying crypto is going to necessarily do that, but you look at Bitcoin alone and it's still a lot more volatile than the overall stock market. And I'm just saying that I think that while everybody looks at this as this game-changing thing, and I think it probably is, I think there's still going to be multiple entry points in the next
Well,
5 years for
well,
people
dude,
that are
I equate it to
planning
musical
for it.
chairs. Honestly, crypto is musical chairs. Until we are in what I call a speculative market, and I obviously didn't come up with that. We're in a speculative market, and we're trying to guess where this technology is going to go and who the big players are going to be. And once it rolls into a utility market where use cases are realized, and like cross-border payments with XRP, and decentralized, DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure, with Render and Aether. When you start looking at things like DAG, where with encryption for that they're working with the Department of Defense, and all the different different the Air Force and Army and National Guard, all those different ones on encryption. You have all these different use cases, and until the dust settles and the best technology, the cream rises to the top, it's a speculative market. And so you're in the Wild West. There's huge gains to be made and there's huge losses to be, realized. But if you, pick the right ones, like back in the day with Kodak or with Microsoft or with SpaceX or Tesla, Amazon, this is the time in crypto where if you diversify properly and you deleverage your risk or mitigate your risk properly, you might possibly hit one of these. You might lose on 5 or 6, 7, of your investments. But if you hit that one, there is a potential to make life-changing money. But you have to do your own research. If you can't be lazy, you can't watch TikTok videos and YouTube videos and think that you're gonna fucking find that one. You have to dig into white papers. You have to look who's running the company. You have to look at who their current partners are. You have to look at the pain points or what it is, the issues that they're trying to solve in what silo or what use case. And based on that, you can make an educated decision on what you get into. That is how you make smart investments. Am I right or wrong, Jeff?
No, I absolutely 100%. No, your logic and your reasoning is right. And I would tell you, it's funny. So the other day, just like 2 days ago, I got in a conversation about Bitcoin options with a gentleman who literally I don't understand anything he writes back because he is in his early 40s and already retired
Like
from being
I
an
am.
but yeah, well, yes, but I think he shot less people, but yes. So
Hey, don't you judge me with your judgmental eyes.
All right.
I'm not. I think that's badass. I'm just saying that he did it via being a market maker for options for a hedge fund. So he
Okay.
literally traded derivatives for a hedge fund, and he did it really, really, really well. And the guy knows math at a level that I don't even want to pretend to ever think about. But he started coming back with term structures and volatility surfaces, and I'm like, okay, I just basically answered in a minimal way, so I didn't look like a complete and utter moron.
All
But
right.
but
You gave me the north. You gave me the north south.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, volatility surface, of course. So I think though, if I had $1,000 a month to burn, right, or $100, I don't care, it doesn't matter what it is, $100 a month, like money that literally I would be willing to put on scratch offs. I think it would be fun to buy long term options on Bitcoin with the argument that you like, let's say priced a year out or priced even 2 years out,
Hold
and just
on.
be like, look, every month it's a lottery ticket, and I'm gonna lose
There's-
every single dollar, or I'm gonna
Okay,
make
Jeff.
6x.
Well, Jeff, real quick, explain what options are, because a lot of people out there don't understand what that is. So, people might understand, in traditional finance and in Bitcoin, that they know what options are. But
Sure.
yeah, go ahead, please.
An option, I mean, there's multiple kinds of derivatives, but an option is simply the right to purchase an asset in the future, either to purchase, to buy, or to sell an asset in the future at a price determined today. So for
Right.
really oversimplification, let's pretend, I don't know, you've got Apple stock, and let's just say, to make my life easy, it's trading at $100 a share. And you think Apple's kind of treading water right now. You want to keep it long term. And I come to you and I say, hey, Mike, I want to give you $5 a share for you got 10 shares of Apple. I'm going to give you $5 a share. That's $50. I'm going to give you $5 a share. And anytime I want in the next year, I can buy it from you for $100. And you're like, well, I'd actually be happy to sell my shares tomorrow $105. So sure, I'll take the $5 a share now. If he gives me $100 sometime in the next year, I'm not too upset about it. By the way, that guy's a sucker, because I did my math and I really think Apple's going to go down to like 95 over the next year before it rebounds and goes to 140 over the next 5, right? So you got your outlook, right? So let's just say over the next year the stock goes up, down, sideways, but it never gets above $105 a share. Right. Well, if it doesn't ever give about $105 a share, I'm not going to buy it from you, because it's going to cost me $100 to buy it per share, and I already had to give you $5 for the damn option. So I'm not going to spend.
Right.
I'm not going to buy that from you. Right. So let's
So
just
your
say, for
option
grins,
is the projected.
Yeah.
price
right. So
point.
let's say a year from now, one of two scenarios. Scenario A, the Apple's trading at $98 a share. My options expire, meaning you just get to keep my $50. Nothing happened. You still got
You
your
didn't buy.
shares, and my time horizon, my time to buy has expired. I just lost $50. Okay. However, let's say the day before my options expire, Apple announces that they have cracked AGI, and it goes to $1,000 a share. I get to call you up and go, hey, dude, I'm buying your shares for the $100 we agreed upon, and I immediately are selling them in the market for $1,000. So my options are either going to expire worthless, or they're going to be worth the difference between what I can buy them from you for in the future.
You're speculating, and you're able to lock in a price based off of that speculation.
Well, yes, but more than that, it's leverage. So, for example, if I spend $1,000, in that example, I spent $50, right?
Okay.
$5 a share for 10 shares. I spent $50, but I had the right to own the potential appreciation of 10 shares worth of stock. Versus if I spent $50 and bought
no matter the value.
Right.
No matter the value. Whereas if I just spent the $50 buying an Apple share, I would have only owned one half of Apple. One half of a share. You see what I'm saying? In other words, so if I spend my $50 on options.
Hey, Jeff,
and it's
like we have a viewer that's watching, is wondering why we can't see you.
Because this stupid program is the worst ever. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
it was working before.
Phone. All right, let me try it again. Hold on. Can you see me?
We can see your forehead for a second.
The man behind the voice, behind all the knowledge.
Here's what you need to know.
On your forehead.
I think I think my point being simply that if you wanted to get options, are a way to get built-in leverage. The difference between option investing in stock investing is if I buy the stock and the stock doesn't go up in a year's time, whatever that stock's worth, I still own. If I buy options that expire in a year and the market doesn't cooperate, all my money that I spent on that option is gone. So it's a much higher risk endeavor, but it's also much more rewarding if it works. And now everybody's frozen. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, they're all gone. Their internet probably went out.
That's hilarious.
And now it's just me. Hey guys.
Just me and you.
Well, your image isn't up. I'm the only one up, so everybody's just watching me right now. So for all you crypto investors, the company that has been the most accurate in telling me when to buy and sell crypto, Hedgeye. They seem to
and I'll be honest, Taylor, you actually shared that with me when I was buying Shiba Inu when the market was crashing, when the last bull market was crashing. And I honestly should have looked at it and I would have more quickly understood the 4-year cycle. And but no, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, out of all their things, like a lot of their stuff doesn't work anymore because of basically options have ruined the market and the pricing of things, and it's not correlated to traditional things that it used to be correlated to. But Bitcoin, last time like I got into Bitcoin when Hedgeye said buy, and then when everybody was buying like crazy, they were like sell. I sold it. And then it crashed. And so
I remember you telling me about Ethereum and whatnot, and that they were telling you to sell, and a lot of what you sent me was on point. So if you could, the Deadwood is asking, what is Hedgeye?
And so Hedgeye, it's a bunch of analysts. It's a company. They're designed for hedge funds. They basically educate hedge funds on what they should do in the future. They're trying to see what's going on, but they have a lot of things for individual investors too. And one of the things that they have is called Bitcoin Trend Tracker, where they give. Here, I'll show it on my.
Yeah. Throw some graphics.
Throw it up.
Throw some sexiness.
All right. Let me pull. Okay, let's do this presentation. Okay, let's do Hedgeye here. Share. Okay. So this is their like trend tracker. So like right now, December 24th, they give you just like an analysis and kind of the numbers, basically where they're seeing. Okay, they're saying the high was 103,000.
P90 said I'm on a BlackBerry. That's hilarious.
I know. well, because Jeff, I got to admit, you have a lot of technical problems. But Taylor, continue.
So here they're saying the buy point for right now for Bitcoin is if it drops below 94,000, that's when you should. Like this isn't buy and sell all of your position. This is like
that's basically a support level.
Yeah, and then they're saying 99,000 is the sell point. When it gets above 99,000, it should sell off. But they give you like where they kind of project things to be, and they'll give you the point when they say, okay, it's time to get out. The trends are starting to think, but
basically, it sounds like what they're talking about is, I mean, they sex it up quite a bit, but it's basically support and resistance level.
No. They go their analysis as they will mock you if you come to them and say, "Oh, we look at charts and do chart." Like they are anti-charts all the way. They
I get it, but basically what, like in layman's terms, what like people that watch crypto influencers and stuff like that, the terminology that they're going to be familiar with is support and resistance levels. So basically, support being this is the price that if it drops below and it confirms that you want to be getting out, and if it goes up to this point or buy, if it goes up to this point and which is resistance, and it rejects, then you want to be selling so that you can buy back in at a lower price.
Yes, their analysis is first you have to determine what type of market we are in. So Keith is their like main guy that you can watch a show. He's kind of a crazy dude, but but you can go to this Hedge Eye University here, and they go through kind of their they don't charge for it. They'll go through their basic way, how they analyze when you buy and sell. So it depends on what type of market are we in, and that depends upon how are they printing money, are they not printing money, what's the volatility, what's a bunch of different metrics that they use in analyzing everything. And they are like, we're in a bull market right now because they're bringing down interest rates, and so that's going to cause, because they're going to have more money in the system, there's going to be more money to invest. And so that's going to cause things to go up or down. And so right now they have everything is bullish. Bitcoin, Ethereum.
The whole market hinges off liquidity. And so whenever liquidity is injected, then usually that means price appreciation. Prices go up. If there's money being pulled out of the markets, that market cap starts to decrease. Then of course prices are going to constrict.
Yeah. So, but they do this analysis like I can't remember if they do.
What are their data points? Like what exactly are their data points, Taylor?
Oh, dude, there's so many that they use. I couldn't even go through all.
Well, what are some of the highlights like that you look at? Because I know you've been using Hedge Eye for a while. What are some of the data points you look at? So
the first thing is, just when they tell you to do something, don't try to second guess them like you know better. That's the biggest thing. These guys is all they do all day long. But they're looking at what type of, what is the terminology they use for it? They have a terminology that they've created. They have 4 different, now I can't remember.
It's the quadrants.
Quadrants, yeah.
Taylor.
Yeah, what quadrant are we in? And what are the 4 quadrants?
Oh, I don't remember that. I just know it's 1 through 4, but it's like has to do with like sort of fiscal monetary policy, trend following. It's like, are we an expansive? Are we in an expansive position? Are we in a contracting position? They look at a bunch of different sort of macro flows and conditions to kind of figure out the general environment, and then they look at the trends and the value and the fundamentals of the particular asset within that environment. Right. So,
yes,
I don't know the definitions because it's been a while since I've watched them, but it'd be kind of like us, right? It's pretty obvious to all of us right now that if you want to go buy a house with a mortgage, it's not nearly as good a time as it was 3 years ago. Right. It's one of those things. It's just about the seasonality of investments.
The loan is going to jack the fucking monthly payment up.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they have a whole bunch of data that they use, like that they're watching daily about, okay, what are big institutions doing? Why are they behaving the way that they are? What is the Fed up to? And they say,
you know what? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, finish your train of thought.
But basically it was, don't listen. Basically there's like, do not listen to what they're telling you. They are there to, like, if you turn on whatever station you turn on, it is a lie what they are saying on those.
Yeah, they're talking their book.
You look at the data. What does the data tell you? And they'll give you the data. And so if you love data, Hedge Eye is the place for you. And this is only $20 a month to have Bitcoin Trend Tracker. It's nothing. It's a very easy way to track it and know, it's probably time to get in or get out. But that's why I got in earlier this year, was because they said Bitcoin is going bullish. Get in.
Oh yeah, no, it's like I've been in for, Taylor, I've been in for a minute. I've been DCAing all through the bear market, and actually I'm pretty transparent about my portfolio, just because I want to be real about my experience with crypto. And what was it? About a week ago, I broke into 6 figures. So I'm over $100,000 now. I started out with about 50,000 is what I started with, and I have about 20,000 in DeFi. and I'm earning on with that 20,000. I'm making about $100 to $150 a day is my average, and so yeah, no, it's if you do your research, and this goes back to the expat thing and living abroad, because if you can become financially sovereign and control your own money, control that value, use it to any static money, to use a military term, any static money is losing value. If you are using the value or the money that you have to earn more money through real estate, through vehicles, real estate, stocks, bonds, crypto, whatever it is, gold, silver, anything that appreciates in value is actively working to earn you more value. So the quicker that you can move, and I'm not a financial advisor, talk to people like Jeff, but this is what I've learned in my, boom, boom, infantry, freaking blowing stuff up, mind that I have. I'm not a super money guy. I'm not going to pretend to be. But if you can take that value and put it into vehicles that are what I call mailbox money, things that just make money if you're sleeping, if you're awake, if you're on a beach, if you're in the mountains, no matter if you're spending time with your family, no matter what you're doing, it's building value. You can do things like move to a country to where your dollar or your euro goes further, and you can live the life that you dream of with your family and spend the time with your family that you want, with the security of knowing that you have that mailbox money coming every month. If anything you can do, if you can build a drop shipping company online, with an online store that's making you monthly income, if you're on social media and you're making that monthly income that's bringing you value, if you're in crypto, if you're in TradFi, if you start a charter company, down in the Dominican Republic or Antigua, if you have that mailbox money that comes to you, you can start taking control of how you live your life and be the master of your life, as opposed to doing what you have to do to survive.
Amen. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your preaching.
No, well, sorry, I'm getting on the soapbox a bit, but honestly,
I feel
like
like I'm
really
back at church, man.
well, no, but if you have to, you really need to start thinking in that mindset, because if you don't, you're going to live your whole life to pay the bills. Am I wrong?
Yep. No,
You're exactly right. No, that's great. But I want to throw out one thing. Okay, this Josh Steiner, there's his Twitter handle, or his X handle, whatever you want to call it. This guy knows what he's talking about. He is like one of the smartest guys at Hedgeye over there. Follow him, because he's their like financial dude that knows like whenever he says something that's going on or it's going to happen, it usually does happen. Like he is spot on with his. He doesn't post very much, but when he does, it's usually important, and he knows what he's talking about. But this guy, Josh Steiner, I love that guy. He's been like spot on with so many things, like especially when big news is coming out, like, hey, is the Fed going to raise rates or whatever they're going to do? He's the guy that kind of knows. But that is a guy you can follow him on Twitter for free, and he posts great stuff. He's their financial guru.
Hey guys, I gotta go, but I'm gonna leave you with this. I just went to Twitter to find out for the Taylor was talking about, and I saw this pops up, and it says,
Ooh.
The FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the backpack shooter. The NYPD has added another $10,000, and United Healthcare is kicking in a $25 copayment.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's brutal, but it's funny. Oh, okay. With that, I'm going to say goodnight.
Thanks, my brother.
No, we got to go. I'm trying to do closing thoughts right here. Taylor, go ahead and give us your closing thoughts.
I think you're absolutely right, Michael. The idea is you have to get your money working for you, whatever way you can do that. You got to teach your kids that concept, like take a little bit of money. And like when I taught my kids the idea that, hey, you can buy a stock and you could put $100 in there, and this company, they'll give you $10 back every year. You know, that kind of changed a lot of my kids' way of looking at, hey, I can go buy this T-shirt that's going to be worthless in a year.
Yeah.
Or I could buy the stock that's going to give me $10 back every year.
Yeah.
Yo,
no,
what should I do?
Or an appreciating asset.
But yes, that's my thought.
Dave, what do you got? Closing thoughts.
There was a lot of crypto talk. I think most people, if they're not into crypto, have no idea what we're talking about. But if they got one point about crypto, is it's probably going to be the currency of the future. It probably is. Governments are dead set on getting rid of the dollar. And I didn't really believe that until I spent a little over 3 months in Europe on how much they're dead set on getting rid of cash and any kind of cash payments. So crypto, I think, is going to be around for a long time. So it behooves everyone to learn about it, even if you don't want to invest at this point. Also, if you're thinking about living abroad, do your research the country first, see how far your dollar goes, or your euro, or your yen, or whatever you have. Me personally, I wouldn't come back to this country. And look, I'm a Marine. I love America. I was a Boy Scout, right? I love America. I would not be here.
The disclaimers.
I wouldn't be here if my cousin wasn't here and if my kids weren't here. I would never come back to America, ever, because there's beautiful places in the world. And people in other countries are very kind-hearted, good people. And you don't understand that until you live abroad. Really.
No, honestly,
and it changes your whole mindset on the world.
Anybody that's been in the military understands that.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
I've traveled the
maybe
world.
Maybe you do. But until you actually live as a citizen or acting as a citizen of another country, not employed by your government to be there, when you actually live there under their law, their police.
There's plenty of military to do that.
Sure, I understand. So my point is, right, if you're going to live abroad, because the show is about expats, do your research. There's a lot of beautiful places in this world that you can live. There's a lot of very safe places, way safer than America. The Netherlands is like a sim. It's like a sim.
Yeah.
It's fake how safe it is. There's many countries where it's so safe, it's insane. They don't have the homeless people laying in the streets.
Well, cost of living, like for food, utilities, for healthcare, for a lot of things. My neighbor here where I'm at, he goes to Thailand to get his dental work done. It's
that's what he says.
No, what's that?
I said, yeah, that's what he said. That's what he says.
He goes to Thailand. No, it's like he's married to a lady from Thailand, and he went to Thailand to get his dental work done because the round trip ticket to Thailand, his cost for staying there for a couple of weeks, getting the dental work done was cheaper than getting the dental work done here.
But listen,
that's
incredible. I was living in Mexico. I didn't want to get my teeth worked on in Mexico. I let my daughter get her teeth done there, but I'm like, I'm not getting my teeth done. San Diego, they wanted like $2,800 for 2 cavities. I went to Bosnia when I was traveling, and this toothache was killing me. And I was like, no, come to the dentist. When I was in Bosnia, it was €90 to get the same thing that was $2,800 in the US worth of dental work.
Exactly.
And it was the nicest dentist office I've ever been in. And let me add, with the hottest 2 dental assistants I've ever seen. Ever. I was like, dude, take them out, whatever you want to do.
And if you're like bald like me and Dave, then you can go to Turkey and you can get the hair implants. And if you're into that kind of thing,
you can get some lipo, some teeth, some boobs, you get a tranny,
whatever you want. Hey, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
So
and I'm out.
I'm
cooking ribs.
All right.
My only comment is, gentlemen, let's have a part 2, and you can tell us about vacation packages on yachts in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, no, go ahead and check out Jeff. I appreciate Taylor. Thank you for being here. I know that you just got back off like a marathon trip. Thank you for showing up. I greatly appreciate it. Jeff, thank you. Dave, everybody that's out there,
Thanks,
Crypto
guys.
Breeze
It was a good time.
90, the Deadwood, thank you. It's we appreciate you guys showing up. But I think I'm going to stay on a little bit. I want to go over the website, but Taylor, if you want to duck out, Jeff, if you want to duck out, please feel free to do so. I know you got families to get back to and some sleep to get.
All right, okay, guys. See you later.
Take care.
Later, man. Mike, you want me to make you a plate or wait for you?
I'll yeah, please.
Wait for you?
No, go ahead. So I just real quick, anybody that's interested, I just want to go over this real quick. We put up a website. So Dave, for a while, has had a charter company down in Antigua, down in the East Antilles, West Antilles.
West Indies.
Yeah, West Indies. So I've been down there. I crewed on his boat for a while. I've done a bunch of maintenance on it. Done a bunch of overnight trips between islands. Experience of a lifetime. There's a website for that, Dojo on the Wave, charters.com. And then we just launched in the Dominican Republic. As you can see, Dojo on the Wave, Dominican Republic. We have 20 different yachts. So some of them are luxury yachts, and I'll show them right now. So these are the luxury yachts that we have available for people to rent for the day and go out and experience the coastline and the different islands, the sandbar where all the giant starfish are, snorkeling on the coral reefs, just all those things that you expect from a boat charter. So we have the 70-foot azimuth, we have the 55-foot azimuth. There's a bunch of different luxury charters, but also, if you're interested, there is fishing charters, and you can go down and you can do a shared charter, which is a lot more affordable. But you can also, and there's world-class marlin fishing, but there's also shallow water fly fishing, and you can do private charters as well. So the website will give you all the pricing. If you want to get a hold of Dave, go down there and experience, just the
paradise.
Honestly, it is. It really is
paradise.
Where you can experience the beaches and just relax and enjoy, and it's affordable. It's one of the few places that I found in the world that's still affordable. Thailand is starting to get flooded. Costa Rica, since I started researching there, has gotten flooded by expats. Real estate prices have skyrocketed. There's a lot of places where it's becoming less and less affordable. You really need to take the value that you've secured in, traditional vehicles like real estate, traditional finance, stocks, bonds, things like that, crypto, and you need to start diversifying and moving those. Again, not a financial advisor. These are just things that I think about, and moving those into less volatile assets that over the long term are going to pay dividends, maybe not, outpace things like crypto, but you lock in the value. So say that you make a bunch of money in crypto and you say you have $500,000 and you want to take a portion of that and move it into something less volatile. So when the bear market comes, you don't lose all that value. You move it into a stable coin, you move it into something like real estate, gold, whatever it is that you want to move it into. These are the things you need to start thinking about when you are using things like crypto to get value. You need to move out of the volatility. Whenever you make these profits, you need to move them out of the volatility into stables, things like real estate and those traditional vehicles that are more stable. And whenever you can use those to make money, to make that mailbox money. And whenever the market crashes, things like volatile markets like crypto crashes, if you want, you can move some of that value. If it's a rental property and you're making that mailbox money, it gives you that dry powder to put into those volatile markets and to diversify into higher risk assets to where you can build value. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. You need to talk to a financial advisor. You need to do your own research. But that is how you decouple yourself from the matrix, I guess is the best word I can think of going to work and just putting your nose to the grindstone every day till you're 65, 70 years old, hoping that you're going to have enough value to be able to relax and enjoy life for whatever time you have left. If you want to retire at a decent age, 40, 50, 60 years old, to where you still have some vitality left to really enjoy life, you need to put some thought into how you're living. Are you living, is your way that you're living adjusting to your lifestyle, or are you living well within your means, reinvesting that money to build value to where you can retire at a young age? I wish that if I could speak to my young self, and I'll close with this, if I could speak to my young self, this is what I would tell me is take the money, live like you're poor. Take that money and reinvest it in the things that are going to make you more money. I could have, instead of retiring at the age of 40, I could have retired at the age of 30 or 35 maybe with a much higher quality of life. These are the things as a young person you need to think about to set you apart from your peers. And with that, I'll say goodnight.
Peace.
Veteran Crypto out.
It's fun, Joe.